Hey there, my friend. The news hasn't stopped, and in today's video, we've got 4 bombshells for you. Rangers eye a new transfer as a £6 million more update emerges on a Liverpool ace. Celtic fans told to offer support to Rangers if they have any sense. Rangers well placed to land a £30 million windfall after the Deserts twist. Wayne Rooney reacts to claims of a £7 million Rangers bid for a 20-goal real talent. Before we dive in, make sure you've hit the like button on the video. This video is being recorded before we crush Motherwell, and I'll be back with more updates on our team after that. So here's the latest bit of transfer gossip. Rangers have their eye on Liverpool's young talent Bobby Clark, but it's not going to be a bargain. Word on the street is that it'll take more than £6 million to pry the 19-year-old away from Anfield. That's according to Paul Gorst from the Liverpool Echo, who reckons the Reds aren't exactly eager to sell their young starlet. Apparently, RB Salzburg already had a go with a bid around that figure, but Liverpool turned them down flat. Gorst also mentioned that while Rangers are definitely keen, Liverpool's valuation is way above £6 million. They see Clark as a player with a huge future, so they're pretty relaxed about keeping him around. Now, why all the fuss over a 19-year-old? Well, Bobby Clark's not just any teenager. He's already made 12 appearances for Liverpool last season, including in some high-stakes games like the EFL Cup final and Europa League matches. The lad's got versatility. He can slot into various midfield positions, which would be a massive boost for our squad, especially with Ryan Jack and John Lundstrom not always available. And let's not forget, if this turns out to be a loan deal, it could be a win-win. Liverpool get to see their young talent develop with regular first-team action, and we get a bit of that Premier League quality injected into our midfield. So whether it's a full transfer or a loan, bringing Clark to Ibrox could be just what we need to add some fresh energy and creativity to the team. But it's clear that if we want him, we'll have to dig deep into our pockets, or hope that Liverpool fancy giving him some experience up north. Here's a bit of cheeky thinking from Matthew Lindsay at the Glasgow Times. He reckons that Celtic fans should actually support Rangers in our upcoming Champions League clash against Dynamo Kiev. I know, sounds a bit mad, right? But hear him out. Lindsay's argument is all about the bigger picture. Scotland's UEFA coefficient is on the line, and if it drops, our clubs, including Celtic, could end up playing more qualifying rounds to get into European competitions. Not exactly ideal, eh? So in his mind, it would be smart for our green and white neighbours to cheer us on, as well as Kilmarnock and St Mirren to keep Scotland's standing in Europe strong. He even went as far as saying, if the snipers had any sense, they'd be willing James Tavernier and the lads to put on a show and get the job done against Dynamo. His thinking is that if Rangers, Kilmarnock and St Mirren do well, it benefits all Scottish clubs financially and reputation-wise. The alternative, according to him, is a European abyss that none of us want to fall into. Now, as for that 1-1 draw we pulled off last week, thanks to Cyril Désir's last-minute heroics, it puts us in a strong position to advance in the tie. Even if it had ended 1-0 to Dynamo, Philippe Clement would still fancy our chances of turning it around at Hampton. Let's be honest, though. The idea of Celtic fans suddenly becoming Rangers supporters, even for one match, is about as likely as a snowstorm in July. And I'm sure the feeling's mutual. I can't imagine us Gers fans jumping up in joy if a Celtic player scores in a European qualifier, no matter how much it might help Scotland's coefficient. But hey, in an ideal world, we'd keep our UEFA ranking high and everyone would qualify for Europe with ease. For now, though, all that really matters is that Hampton is rocking with Rangers fans on Tuesday, and we get the job done. Rangers are sitting pretty with the chance to bag a massive windfall of over £30 million if we manage to qualify for the Champions League proper. That's according to Keith Wyness, the former Aberdeen chief who knows a thing or two about running a football club, having had stints at Everton and Aston Villa. Now, Wyness isn't just blowing hot air. He's pointed out that we're facing a bit of a shortfall when it comes to having the cash needed to put together a squad that can really compete on the European stage. And he's right. We all know the kind of firepower you need to go toe-to-toe with Europe's elite, and it doesn't come cheap. Now, we're heading into the second leg at Hampton Park, with everything to play for. Get past the Ukrainians, and we're looking at a showdown with either FC Twente or Salzburg for a spot in the group stage. Wyness reminds us that the last time we made the group stage, back in the 2022-23 season, it wasn't exactly a campaign to remember. We conceded 22 goals and didn't win a single game. But hey, the past is the past, and this is a new opportunity. Celtic's already in the Champions League after winning the Premiership, so now it's our turn to join them and bring some of that European glory back to Glasgow. As Whitaker puts it, this is crucial. Getting into the Champions League could be worth upwards of £30 million, and that's not just huge for Rangers, it's massive for the whole Scottish game. But here's the thing. To make this a reality, we've got to get through these qualifiers. It's a challenge, no doubt, but the reward is enormous. So let's focus on the task at hand, get that win at Hampton, and set ourselves up for a shot at the big time. There's been a lot of chatter about Rangers being interested in Morgan Whitaker, the 20-goal sensation from Plymouth Argyle. But despite all the noise, it looks like things have gone a bit quiet on that front. A few weeks back, there were rumors swirling around about a £7 million bid from Ibrox, but since then not much has happened. Now you'd think that with a young forward like Whitaker, who's been banging in goals and racking up assists in the EFL, there'd be a bidding war by now. But strangely enough, the lad's name hasn't been popping up in the gossip columns as much as you'd expect. Even though he had a cracking season helping Plymouth avoid relegation, it seems like the transfer talk has cooled off. Wayne Rooney, the new boss at Plymouth, and yes, that Wayne Rooney, has been pretty tight-lipped about the whole thing. When asked about those Rangers reports, he didn't give much away. He's keeping his cards close to his chest, refusing to confirm which clubs might be interested in Whitaker. But what he did say is that Morgan seems happy where he is, showing no signs that he's itching to leave the South Coast anytime soon. Rooney's been full of praise for Whitaker, calling him a real talent and saying he's been delighted to work with him in pre-season. He's even laid down a challenge for the lad, to improve on last season's performances. And if Whitaker rises to the occasion, Rooney believes Plymouth will be in a strong position. As for Rangers, it seems like they've moved on. Philippe Clement's side has secured Václav Cerny on loan from Wolfsburg, another talented right-winger who's already made an impact, setting up Cyril Dessers' dramatic 94th-minute equalizer in our recent Champions League qualifier against Dynamo Kyiv. So with Cerny on board, it's unlikely that Rangers will make another move for Whitaker before the September deadline. Meanwhile, Plymouth fans can look forward to seeing Whitaker in action for their championship opener against Sheffield Wednesday. Rooney did admit that the club received a bid for Whitaker, but he wasn't impressed, calling it an insult considering what the lad achieved last season. It's clear Rooney is keen to keep hold of Whitaker, especially with the big contract the players got behind him. And while Rangers were first linked with Whitaker back in the 2022-23 season, when they reportedly offered £2 million, it seems like that ship has sailed, at least for now. I'll be back with more bombastic and exclusive Rangers news at any moment. If you don't want to miss any, just hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, alright? We are the people.